It is indeed a pleasure to have this privilege to play here for you. We intend to give you a very fine program, so just settle back, relax,
I help if I have my headphones on.
The moment.
What up? Mic check, 1, 2. Mic check, 1, 2. Y'all see my gray streak coming in? Wait, it goes this way. I can't wait. I want a gray streak, right? I want this really beautifully youthful face with this X-Men-like gray streak. Like Storm meets Jean Grey meets, I don't know, Wolverine. What up? Debbie, how you feeling? No more, for the foreseeable future, Debbie, no more Facebook. I'm trying to figure it out. Facebook might be the future home for like clips of Mic'd Up. What up? What up? This is Mic'd Up in the Morning, the live stream. I'm mikagadsden. What's up, L Cool J? L Cool J. Seriously, I want to just say thank you for the book again, because I'm loving pleasure activism. You know what I like about pleasure activism, L Cool J? Is that I've met people mentioning the book. So it's like, shout out to Tamika Middleton too, chilling in GA. Haven't had the pleasure of organizing extensively with Tamika Middleton, but she is someone I revere, and I was looking forward to working with her when I was with Cypress, but that went left. But I mean, please, sky's the limit. We can link up, hopefully. Shout out Debbie, L Cool J. I see Megzy. What up? So today, y'all, we got a special guest. We got a special guest today. Y'all might know her if you follow on if you are on IG. You might know her as Beer Girl Meets World. Her name is Alexandra. And I've been watching Anna. I am a lurker. I'm a straight up lurker, but we've interacted and engaged each other's content. I showed her content yesterday as she was, putting Republic on blast, and we love it. No, that's not it. My bad. I'm trying to find my applause button. No, that's not it. Anyway, we love... I gotta stop. I'm like a 1990s sports shock jock with these sound effects. Anyway, so no. But she was holding Republic holding the Republic accountable, and we showed the post yesterday in her stories. And so I'm looking forward to her. She's gonna join us via Zoom. No call in. We're gonna get back, and we're gonna probably switch up some things into the new year. Keep the buttons moving. I got you. But yeah, we're gonna try to probably, maybe, I don't know how. I'm comfortable with StreamYard. I play around with StreamYard. I've been on tons of speaking engagements, virtual speaking engagement using StreamYard. My book club, shout out to Leslie Mack. Leslie Mack, she was the producer of my book club productions, and so she used StreamYard, and I've seen that StreamYard integrates with Twitch. Now, I don't know how that's going to change the chat and the engagement feature, but tons of people on Twitch, Black Girl Nerds and whatnot, use StreamYard to hold conversations. And so I think we're going to pivot out of Zoom, but I want y'all to see people's faces, especially if they're willing and they want to. I want you to see people's faces. So today, Anna will be joining us. Good morning, kid. Good morning, little mama. Anna will be joining us at 8:30. 8:30, Beer Girl Meets World. We're going to talk about holding systems accountable. We're going to talk about, that's the larger, like that's when I'm going to switch real quick and switch right back. That's the larger conversation we're having, is like, disruptive women holding systems accountable. Shout out. Thank you for the bits. I appreciate you. Show some love. Thank you. Show some love. I appreciate you. Yeah, so like I guess on a very basic general level, we're going to be talking about disruptive women. We're going to talk about past and present. If you got the newsletter, I mentioned that. So I'm talking about names like Lorraine Hansberry. I'm talking about Nina Simone. I'm talking about Claudette Colvin. I'm talking about Reese Taylor and Rosa Parks and that intersection of important work, historically important work. We're going to talk to Anna live, right? And I want y'all to get a better sense as to what she does. What she's doing, and again, I engage with her content, but never had a one-to-one with her. So this is like a first for me too, and I actually kind of prefer that. So at 8:30, she's going to join us via Zoom. We're going to talk about disruptive women, holding systems accountable, past and present, and why it's important. Why is it important for women to occupy that space? Why is it important for women to occupy that space here in Charleston specifically? I'm excited to have that conversation. I'm excited to kind of either introduce some of y'all to women that you don't know about, or either I'm introducing you to someone new, or I'm reintroducing you to an aspect of their work. Hopefully you learn something new today, and hopefully you feel inspired to disrupt in your own way. My whole thing is like, this whole thing that we do in terms of disrupting systems, trying to dismantle white supremacy, or the patriarchy, or any type of any form of oppressive systems. It's not a one size fits all. Shout out. Ow, thank you. Thank you, Kia. It's not a one size fits all. It is Giving Tuesday. So, side note, it's Giving Tuesday. Give a bad bitch a couple bits. I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for y'all holding me down. Seriously. But back to what I was saying, like, it's important for women in this city to really occupy this space. It doesn't come easy. It's not one size fits all. And so you got to figure out the ways you could fuck shit up every day, as I've been known to say. And it really is like, you can throw a monkey wrench into the smallest of things, or you can do things that are seemingly innocuous every day. And I really do hope, hey, what's up, this Justin? What's up, Whiskey Neat? I really do hope that people understand. That's what I'm trying to impart, is that no one's expecting you to, launch movements, right? Lead masses of people. But we do expect you, especially if you're white, especially if you're non-black POC, what we do expect you to do is to be an agitator. I always call myself, I lean into disruptor. And sometimes, and when I position myself as a disruptor, some people like it can have this purely negative connotation, but I lean into it. I call myself a gadfly, right? I'm a social irritant. Those are things I lean into, and I really want people to start getting more and more comfortable. Did y'all see that cute picture, Justin? Justin, I might put you on blast. I'm gonna go to Twitter. Y'all, you see this cute picture? Justin looks so cute. When I see y'all faces and y'all in real life, it's so fun. But no. But but yeah, I really do hope that people kind of like find ways to disrupt and to just kind of agitate things and be social irritants. Thank you, Hype Train. We got a Hype Train coming, y'all. Look at D. Good morning. Appreciate you. All right, so let's get to it. So Anna's coming at 8:30. That means I got 20 minutes to get my life right? So let's go ahead and we're gonna do like a quick news roundup to show you the front page of both the Post and Courier and the state newspaper, right? Shout out to all the love. It's Giving Tuesday. Give a bitch a tip. Oh, yes, if you can afford it, if you feel compelled, if your inbox is nutty with mad Giving Tuesday stuff, some from really, really dope people like, We Are Family, we support We Are Family, all right? We support like the local grassroots nonprofits and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Shout out to Cora over there, all right? But there's a lot of other big, hype train. There's a lot of other big corporations and whatnot taking up a lot of oxygen in the room. So get to something grassroots today. That's going to be my one pitch. That's going to be my PBS pitch. Give this something grassroots. Give this something local. You know, I'm looking at all this crazy news about supply chains and Christmas and, oh, I can't get my son a PS5. He gonna be all right. Your daughter gonna be all right. Your son, your person you gave birth to gonna be okay. Okay. Let's dig in and let's figure out ways to support I see you, Justin, to support local grassroots stuff, right? And so yeah, thank you so much for the support, the hype train. I appreciate y'all so much. Thank you. All right, so front page Post and Courier, boom. Experts urge vigilance amid Omarion concerns. I cannot. It's on Twitter too. Everybody on Twitter was like calling it Omarion variant. Okay, but it's serious. It is serious, y'all. I'm not making a joke. It is serious, but I'm glad to see this above the fold front page of the Post and Courier. So reviving a landmark. This is interesting. That if it's black, you know if it's black in Black history, you know Adam Parker wrote it. Shade, no shade, shade, little shade. But it's worth the read. So reviving a landmark, grant-funded restoration projects underway, promising a new life for Mosquito Beach, a retreat for black residents during segregation. Over here, now this is a story we definitely got to read right here. All right, shout out. Oh yeah. Good Tuesday. Y'all get me all geared up. I got to go to the college, got to meet some College of Charleston students today, this afternoon. So this is going to make me feel really good. But let's look at this story right here. District redrawn to help GOP, critics say. So again, Joey Cunningham, making sure that he gets some press placement at PNC quite often. I want to know if he's getting a lot of burn in the state newspaper. I might just not be reading pieces that include him. I don't know if he had an op-ed in the Post and Courier, but he's definitely maximizing his relationships to the Low Country after, of course, his one term as congressman from District 1, currently being helmed by Miss Nancy Mace. So let me blow this up a little bit. I got to get through this so we can hurry up and get to Anna. Anna's joining us at 8:30. If you tune in to see Beer Girl Meets World, she coming. Is she coming at 8:30? Lord, I can't wait till I raise enough money to get a new. I love my PC. I'm grateful, but I want like new software to do different things. I'm acting like a VI. Okay, let's read this a little bit right here. All right, so Columbia proposed. Thank you for the bids. Look at y'all. Thank you. Okay, so rip up this map, Cunningham urges, okay? Columbia, proposed new lines for South Carolina's 7 congressional districts are seemingly drawn along racial and party concerns with the goal. Does that make sense? I know sometimes I read janky. And we touched on this a little bit yesterday. Okay, proposed new lines for South Carolina's 7 congressional districts are seemingly drawn along racial and party concerns with the goal of keeping the state's only competitive U.S. House seat in Republican-controlled, critics told a state Senate panel. The Low Country's former Congressman, Democrat Joe Cunningham, was among critics asking senators on November 29th to toss the proposed maps out. Okay, so let me do this. So we know he's into the chat. Let's get to. Thank you so much for the support. 89% to the hype train. You got one more minute. If you want to do level 2 hype train, you got one more minute. 89% there, y'all. You're almost there. Who wants to dig in? Who wants to dig in other than the people that always do the heavy lifting? Go ahead. It's just $4.99. Go ahead and get you a sub. Get you some bits. Got 45 seconds. Look. Okay. You always, little mama. Appreciate you. 95% there. 39 seconds. Can y'all see the clock? 35 seconds. All right, here we go. So let's get to the local. It's 8:15. Mika, get it together. All right, so we're gonna get to local news regarding the maps, and then we're gonna get into the Omarion variant. Hype train, 100% level 2. Yeah. Thank you.
South Carolina's single competitive congressional district could lose its swing district status. The proposed map released by the Senate Redistricting Subcommittee staff last week is mostly unchanged compared to the current lines created in 2011, with the exceptions of Districts 1 and 6. Critics of the proposal say if these changes go through, District 1 will no longer be a competitive district. They say the Senate staff's plan to take more likely Republican voters from District 6 and put them in District 1. And District 1 is currently represented by Republican.
Whiskey Neat. Whiskey Neat. Thank you. Thank you, girl.
Congresswoman Nancy Mace. She beat incumbent Joe Cunningham back in 2020 by a slim margin. Back in 2018, Cunningham won a close election for that same seat. The League of Women Voters of South Carolina says the proposed maps assure the outcome of each district before voters even cast their ballots.
Okay, so don't play that one. That's an old one right there. Cancel. All right, so that was an update. Thank y'all so much. Y'all are so sweet. I appreciate you. I appreciate you so much. Wow, we passed level. Oh wow, we did level 3. Y'all jumped from level 2 to level 3. Thank you, Allie, and trying so hard. Bitch, I'm gonna do a Twitch 101 very soon. I'm gonna find the best content. Cause that's how I taught myself. Jared was a huge help. But I'm gonna do a Twitch 101 so y'all understand. But what y'all doing right now is so dope. I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much. I really do. All right, so let's get back to the front page where we got 817. Let me just message. Yeah. Cool. All right, hold on one second. Let me just message Anna. She's getting ready. She's engaged. When you join, I gotta talk. When you join via Zoom, you likely won't see me. My face, but we'll see you. And that's why I want like StreamYard. We'll see you, so she can see comments in real time. She watching on Twitch. Good morning. Y'all say good morning to Anna in the chat. Drop a wave emoji. Say good morning. She coming, y'all. She coming in like 10 minutes. Oh, she can't figure out how to chat. I don't know how you watching. We'll hook her up. We're gonna do one day. We're gonna do we see you though. We're gonna figure it out so I can teach people, because I don't know what y'all are seeing. Like I can't, you know what I mean? Yeah. You recently figured out profanity in the settings? Oh. No. Nah, I encourage profanity too. Yeah, Anna is a real one, Kia. Yeah, and Kia, you actually you hold a very special place too. When you get ready, we're gonna do an interview with you too, because we got your graphic already up. Okay, so let's get to it. All right, so back to the front page because I got 10 minutes. All right, so it's good to see folks engaged in the chat. This is the Democratic establishment, of course, making sure, and not in a bad way. This is not nefarious. I hope I don't sound like a fear monger, but like you can see like what I don't see enough is a concerted effort. Like I don't see enough Dems being positioned to get in front of these cameras, right? What Nancy Mace is doing, granted, she has a top tier comms team, right? She was gifted the Liz Cheney's old comms team, right? So that's congressional. It's different, but you can make the argument that the Democratic Party here in South Carolina could position some of its more prominent figures to get out in front of this story. Not just those running for office, but like your Marvin Pendarvis, your Crystal Matthews. Name one. Shit. Where's Trav at? Like Trav, like where's Colleen Condon? Like you can make the argument that they need to get out in front of this and not just send out, keto beer Kendall, Joey Cunningham. Like it's more than that, right? And so I'm looking for that. But let me just read this one more paragraph. The Low Country's former congressman, Democrat Joe Cunningham, was among critics. Shout out to Bree Maxwell too, with the camp. That's my girl right there. I got a good text from her yesterday. Okay. Tell me how you feel about your horsepower, neighbor. Okay. Did y'all hear that, Car? Asking senators on November 29th to toss the proposed maps out. The lines move many black and Democrat voting precincts out of the state's first congressional district, held by freshman Republican Nancy Mace, into Representative, Representative Jim Clyburn's black majority 6th district. I'm not going to disrespect Jim Clyburn like that. All right, let's move over to the state newspaper real quick. All right, thank you so much. Join the coven, you Allie. Hey, Hype Train, thank you. Oh, that was so cute. Hype Train. All right, choo choo. I guess we unlock new emojis. All right, thank you so much, y'all. 11 subs and 1,100 bits. Thank you. Keep on holding me down. All right, so this is the front page of the state newspaper. No cases of the Omicron variant found in South Carolina yet. It's here. It's already here. DHEC says, right? So that's above the fold. Right, we're going to hop into that clip next. All right, and also front page, smack dab in the middle, not on the side, not on the margins, Post and Courier. Right here in the middle, one redistricting map advances while another draws fire. All right, so let's I've been following this case too, right here, Ghislaine Maxwell. Because that's why we reading, the trouble with white women. Oh, we can get international with it. Look at y'all with the emojis. I love it. We're gonna definitely dig into some of this maybe during the book club. Shout out to everyone who signed up. Appreciate you. Shout out to everybody who sent me emails because they want to make sure they signed up. Y'all are there. It's so dope to see y'all. All right, so let's get to the news clip about that. I want to go to. Let's go to WCNC. They out of Charlotte, but they also cover Rock Hill, and I love their Verify series. Right, so let's watch what they say, because this is all fact-based.
Now we want to get to the latest about the Omicron variant, though. Scientists are scrambling to learn more about it, as its potential to cause new case surges prompts the U.S. to ban foreign travelers from several countries in Africa where that variant is spreading quickly. And while we are still studying exactly how contagious it is, doctors say its genetic makeup gives some early evidence.
There's over 30 mutations, of which about 8 of them or so are in the spike region binding area, which raises some concern that its transmission abilities may be different than what we've seen so far from other variants.
And so now we want to put this news of the Omicron variant into perspective for you tonight. So President Biden addressing the nation today said,
Wait, Nicole, real quick, talking about the Ghislaine Maxwell case. Saw so many of y'all, so many saying y'all better file this case like you filed the Rittenhouse case, like duh, we will, because she will talk about your say. Yeah, okay, yeah. Kia, you said you're so tired of these white women GQ peers posting about pedo. Yeah, overlook the fact. Oh, Trump and Clinton. Make sure you throw Clinton up in there, messy ass. The original OG Carlos Danger. All right, let me finish Omarion, if I can.
Saying that Americans don't need to panic. He expects to release his plans to avoid a winter surge Thursday, but he says right off the bat, they do not involve any widespread lockdowns.
One thing about the Biden response, I can't remember the gentleman's name, but he was a former aide, and he was a former aide that was charged with over like a high level member of the Biden administration in some capacity, but he was charged with, if y'all know the name of the dude, let me know. I want to say Mackler or Hackler or something. I can't remember, but he's no longer with the White House. But he said, after seeing Biden do the whole travel ban, with Africa, the continent, South Africa specifically, with the Omicron variant was first found. The former aide said that it would have been more effective if our administration would have sent vaccines over, because the vaccination rate is so low. I believe South Africa is at 6%. Keep me honest if that's completely the opposite of what you heard or read. But that right there to me was like ding, 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 ding. Like, yeah, instead of banning and being performative. And this is, I'm telling you, you're going to peep the performative bullshit in all aspects. Once you get done with me, you ain't going to, it's like, I'm going to give y'all a vision that y'all can't unsee. And like the performative shit, and y'all know that this is a layup. Like y'all peep this. Like, you out here banning shit. No, go ahead and send them supplies. Send them what they need to help them, contain this virus. They're at a 6%. It's not double-digit vaccination rate, right? Go ahead and send the tools they need. We're a wealthy country and we have the resources, but you want to look big and bad and shit. And probably there's definitely some anti-blackness locked up in there. So, look, like let's really, yeah, like that's a really low KCJ 18. It's whatever it is. If it's not 6%, I think I watched NewsHour yesterday. I believe they quoted it. I'm like, that's crazy. That's beyond nutty. All right, 4 minutes to Anna joins us.
Other things to keep in mind with this new variant, there are 3 approved COVID-19 vaccines available to
get my
us.
booster.
Kids 5 and up are now eligible for the shot, and doctors have several treatments now, putting us all in a better place than we were a year ago. Speaking of which, we also wanted to show you North Carolina's COVID trends over the last year up until now. And you can see here way at the end, we're sitting on just the other side of a major surge, seeing a very slight rise here, actually, just a very slight rise in recent weeks, but still largely on a flat trend.
And at WCNC Charlotte, we want to focus on the facts, not the fear surrounding coronavirus, especially when there's news of a new variant. It's important to verify the information that's coming in. So tonight, we are verifying what scientists know and what they are still working to find out about the variant. Our sources are Dr. Amesh Abdulja from...
So we're not going to have time to watch this, but again, I like the verify sources element to this broadcast. There's a couple of other news outlets that are really doing some really great shit in like smaller markets. Even that Colorado NBC News affiliate that we watched yesterday that was holding Bolbert. I went back and I watched the entire show. There was like a 30-minute show. It's so frank and honest. And maybe that area of Colorado where that affiliate is, maybe it's a more progressive, left-leaning area, but nonetheless, it's a NBC News affiliate actually talking about issues in such a frank way. And as we talk about and do this really strange pivot from from the Omicron variant to holding bold ass, dope ass, spicy ass women holding systems accountable, right? As we make that harsh pivot, I think that seeing news outlets demonstrate courage and challenging the disinformation culture that exists, I think that's important. So let me go ahead and start this, open up the meeting. And I'm coming if you're listening, if you're ear hustling. Okay, we're going to start. I'm going to open it up. I got you. Thank you. Oh, okay. Says 35%. Okay. What was 6%? I'm gonna go back and find where I got that 6% from. Thank you.
Recording in progress.
No. Okay, hold up. Don't record.
Recording stopped.
Okay. I'm gonna keep my video down, but I'm gonna switch to OBS. No, Streamlabs virtual camera. All right. Oh, there she is. All right, hold on. Let me bring it over, y'all. All right. I want to see if I can. Let me see. Hold on 1 second. Speaker view. All right, I'm gonna stay. 1 second. I'm gonna unmute. Hey.
Hello.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Let me see.
Yeah.
More.
Okay.
Hello.
All right, Anna. And am I pronouncing? Let me make sure I pronounce your name right. Pronounce your name for me.
It's Anna Alexandra.
I knew it. Let me get myself for messing up the name.
You're all good.
First of all, you can't see me, Anna, but people can see you, and I'll be outlining what folks are saying in the chat. Thank you for waving. It's so cute. I want to say first and foremost, thank you for joining me somewhat short notice. it's been my desire to want to talk to you just in real life. So we need to catch up maybe if you got capacity.
Love to.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool. But first of all, let me give you your flowers, y'all. This is Anna Alexandra, right?
Yes.
And I want you to go ahead and introduce yourself to everyone so they understand who you are.
Okay. So, like she said, my name is Anna Alexandra. I go by Anna. I have an Instagram, Beer Girl Meets World, started out as a beer Instagram, but it's kind of just turned a little bit. I've worked in the Charleston food and beverage scene for about 10 years. And before that, I worked in the food and beverage scene in Atlanta. So I've seen a lot. And then my mother is Colombian, so I am half Latina, clearly white passing, but it's been a journey. I started my business last year, selling Colombian food, and so I've kind of like seen a whole different side of the city.
Yep. No, first of all, so once you say food and bev for 10 years, you already the wheels in my head are turning like, oh, she's seen a lot. Yeah. I wanted to talk about the niche you carved out, but I really want to take it back to last year where I think again we kind of crossed digital paths. Never met in real life, I don't think. If I have met you, please, I'm sorry if I don't remember.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Not last year, damn, time is flying, but like the summer of 2020 is when like I think our mutual Peppy, aka Lena Rosa Jewelry, she put me onto your content and what you're doing in terms of holding people accountable. Can you take me back to like that time? I believe it was 2020. Where you called out, I can't even remember the details, but you were calling out something and you were getting a lot of blowback from.
So it started, it was actually, I think in January, I think I like did some like mini call outs last year, but I wasn't like, I wasn't ready to take all the heat yet.
Yeah.
And then in January, it's actually pretty funny. I did sober January, and I don't know if I was just like missing the dopamine from the alcohol, but I would just like see things happening in the town and I would get pissed that nobody seemed to care. It started with, I was hearing a lot of safety concerns about a bar that a lot of my friends go to, the Recovery Room. And when I tried to bring up these concerns with them, I was able to get a meeting with somebody who represented them. I was stood up at that meeting. And when I, went on the internet and was like, hey, I tried to resolve this situation off the internet and I was stood up, the owner of Rec Room actually posted my picture on his Facebook page and kind of like invited people, told everyone I was harassing his bartenders and kind of invited people to attack me. So that was the first one. And then I think the next one was just, there was that text message going around about the clubs on King Street trying to hide the fact that they weren't masking up, that they were, just kind of
that one
laughing at COVID.
That's where, no, that's where I met you. That's where I'm like, yeah, get them, girl. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was just, and it's crazy because now we have this Omicron variant, and it's pretty much because people didn't take the virus seriously, in my opinion. And I felt like people should know, because I like to spend my dollars personally. Like, I know that is the best voting power you have with businesses that actually care about both their employees and their customers. And it's like, these kids are in their 20s, they just want to go out, but they don't realize that who they're supporting does not care whether they live or die. And that's not okay.
So let me ask you this. So I guess the Rec Room, they didn't like the fact that you were asking questions. You tried to go, you tried to meet them, tried to, I guess, mitigate some concerns in person, and that wasn't successful. Has a lot of your blowback been, I don't want to mischaracterize or even like provoke anything, but has it been like the men, it seems like the male energy has been really aggressive whenever they kind of engage with your content or what you do? Has that been the truth?
It definitely is mostly men, mostly white men that are angry. I did have like this one girl, but she was like a promoter for half the clubs. But yeah, it was definitely mostly men just kind of like attacking random things about me. But
okay, making it personal, huh?
Yeah, like very much. Like like making fun of like a pottery piece that I posted on my Instagram, because it was a naked woman, and they were like, "You think you're cool because you have this like naked woman," and I was like, yeah, I do.
Yeah, right. It's really funny. I've been in that situation many times where like they jab you at something that's not an insult. Like like when people like point out my weight, I'm like, yeah, I'm good with that though. Like, you know, like it's just like, okay, it's not an insult. But it also shows you that they really weren't ready. This is actually my next question. You said you weren't ready, and sometimes you just kind of have to walk into that role and kind of assume that role, and you figure it out. And I hope that what you're doing, Anna, I hope it does model for other people. Like that's exactly how it is. There's no perfect rollout. You kind of just go start some shit, you know, however small, however grand, but you figure it out along the way. I guess I wanted to ask you though, what do you think that resistance comes from when you start kind of like, I call it like waking sleepwalkers, and it can be very disruptive for people and disorienting. But how do you characterize that pushback you get from people who just want to go out and have a good time and not worry about, you know, shitty bar owners?
So I think the common theme here is that people, like you said, they don't want to accept that there can be change. I think people have just realized, working in the service industry, that it's just shitty. You're going to get sexually harassed. Like you have to take it. You're going to get passed over because you look different than everyone else. And that's just like how it's going to be forever. I think people thought with the virus that like they just wanted to live their lives like they were before, and they didn't want to change. It's like people are very resistant to change, even if it's a change that's going to help them. Like that's evident in our entire world. And I think that's what it is people don't want things to change. They don't want to admit that these systems are in place to like hurt people, you know? Right.
Oh, are you from Charleston? I don't know if you already mentioned that when we first opened up. Where are you
I'm
from?
actually from the Atlanta area, from a north suburb called Roswell.
How'd you get to the Low Country?
I wanted to live on the beach, and I was dating some guy who lived in Isle Palms, and he was like, come live in my house. So I lived there till I could find another place to live.
Girl.
You know, you do what you do to leave the home, I guess. But,
I wish I don't know what to do on Isle Palms. Like, let me stop.
It was the cheapest rent I ever paid. Ironically, I paid $500 to like live a block from the beach, and never found that again.
Oh wow, yeah, that's a goal. No, okay, that's great. So in food and bev, what is your day-to-day like experience? Like, what do you do? I know you said you open your own business, but like
at this point, I've been in like the beer industry for about 10 years. I'm really, really passionate about beer. So I work at a beer bar called The Whale that opened pretty recently, and I'm working there part-time. And then, so I own a food pop-up. It's Mama Ana's Arepas. So I serve Colombian food, you know, wherever they'll have me.
I love arepas. I love Colombian arepas because there's all different.
You've got to have them. A lot of people don't know what they are. So it's been like a whole journey trying to educate on that. But I've seen it from a different side as a business owner. Like, even though it's not a restaurant, like, you know, it's a food service business. Before I was in, you know, everything from hosting, serving, bartending to management. And it's kind of different because you feel like everything's out of your control, and to a certain degree it is, but it's not much better when you have control of everything. Like, people are still very rude, and you know, coupled with the pandemic, it's just kind of wild. I was reading something recently about like food racism, that generally there's this thing around American people that they think like Chinese food, Mexican food, any food that's not American should be very cheap. And knowing how labor intensive everything that goes into a restaurant is, because I didn't really work in the back of the house. I mean, it's wild to think that people expect it to be cheaper, but that's a lot of the pushback I get, is they're just like, I don't understand why. I'm like, well, sir, I hand make everything. And like you said, there are supply chain issues. I have my mother smuggling guava from Colombia to send to me because I can't get it in the United States anymore.
Really? You can't get guava? Oh, wow.
I can get guava, but I can't get the like specific paste that I use.
Oh, wow.
So I used to get it here, and then I would get it in Atlanta, and now it's just difficult.
Nah, I feel you. I think that's something too for food racism. I'm glad you brought that up. Where that comes from, it extends to, of course, not just the food industry, you know this, but like anytime I think a black or brown person creates something, or you know, just has creates something or expends this emotional labor, or you know, it's always undervalued and devalued for some reason, and that's So that's the way white supremacy is kind of weaved into the things we enjoy. I got real quick questions. Okay, Allie wants to know where you got your earrings. Totally not. Are they cigarettes?
I got them at a thrift store, but so many people ask me. I did find a link to somebody on Etsy, so if you DM me, I'll send it to you.
DM, she's at Beer Girl Meets World on IG, and we'll show her page in a minute. Let me see if there's some other questions. I'll read some comments. People are saying dope. They love arepas. Let me see. Somebody said they've been in the Charleston food and bev scene for 15 since you were 15. Oh, you got stories too, Joy? I got you. Okay, we have. Let me see. Kia says that Anna is literally the only person in Charleston I know that geeks out on reggaeton with you. Hey, I'm with you. I'm with both of y'all. Okay. Totally missed that kind of vibe here. Let me ask you this, because I also feel like, first of all, I asked you for a picture yesterday. You sent me the most very nice picture, but your Instagram is full of color.
I know.
And I love it. It's captivating. And what it makes me want to ask you is that you stand out. And I don't think you're trying. I think you're being yourself authentically. But I know that here in Charleston, you are. You and Kia, me, like it's like a few of us that have these different cultural experiences that we try. Like, I guess what I want to ask you is culturally, how has it been fitting into Charleston? Because Charleston to me is very knockoff bag, very cover bandy. And so when real color and texture and flavors come, they don't know really what to do with it sometimes culturally. How do you feel about that? Long question.
It's been extremely difficult to fit in here. At the beginning, I don't know, it's hard to find your people, I think anywhere, especially as an adult, but also the only people I met were through working in restaurants. And that's just a very kind of, alcohol fueled thing. But I also unfortunately didn't feel I didn't feel like I could be myself for the first several years I lived here. I kind of just toned it down a bit.
Same.
Just dressed a little bit more normal. My hair was brown for a while. And then I actually got out of a really bad relationship and just dyed my hair green and pink. And it was
your phone is blowing. Oh, hold on. Your phone is blowing.
I don't know how to turn this off.
Okay. Oh man, I'm sorry. It's just only because I know it's probably going to distract some people.
Yeah, no, I need to. It's the fucking fantasy football group.
Oh, me too. Oh, you are in a league. I'm in 2 leagues. I think I lost by a hair yesterday. I was so pissed off.
Side alerts.
Okay.
Yeah, this was not a good weekend for me. Okay, sorry about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I lost. I lost by 10 points. Okay. All right. Yeah. No, so fitting in, you used to wear your hair brown. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been hard. And I didn't tell many people I was Colombian for a while because growing up, everyone just assumes they just make some remark about cocaine and I just get very uncomfortable and it's that's all they know,
Wait, Colombian cocaine? Oh God, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'm there's a lot of great things about Colombia. And honestly, it's gotten better since I was a kid because people actually vacation there now. But yeah, I didn't feel like I could be myself here for several years. And I finally kind of just said, fuck it. If you don't like me, I probably won't like you either. So it's fine.
Yeah, conformity is overrated for sure. Yeah.
And it didn't make me happy.
Yeah.
I was miserable.
Yeah. So what gives you joy? What gives you hope? I don't know if you planning on, sometimes I feel like some people, with relationships, some people are here in Charleston for just a moment. Some people are here for a minute. What do you kind of hope for as you spend your time here and work here and build your business here? What are you hoping for Charleston?
So, every day I probably wonder why I'm here. Just there's always something. And I've talked to people who've gotten out, escaped, and it does seem like there's better places. But I've found that people have left sometimes can feel disconnected from what's actually going on just because they move somewhere better. And I for the first time in my life feel like I could make a change in even a very small way, if it's in the food and beverage industry, if it's offering support in this city, because I feel like if people just keep getting burnt out and leaving, it's going to be very hard to change. To change anything here.
Yeah.
And,
that's where I'm at.
South sucks as it is, but people got to live here.
Right. I think, definitely. I think this is where the work is. I think that's why. And it's supposed to be hostile. It's supposed to want to make you move out. That's what it's designed to do. The way the government is set up, the way the vestiges of slavery and Jim Crow are still very much intact. It's designed to oppress you and to exhaust you. So I'm very hopeful, and I'm grateful that you just said what you said. I know for those who are trying to leave and all that, do your thing, but like
no hate to that either,
but I'm staying. So I own property here, so I ain't going nowhere. They're saying don't leave, Anna. They said don't leave. They said shout out to Holy City Vintage. They brought colorful people together. Those markets always are dope at like Royal American and other places for sure.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to talk about your post that you made and you tagged me yesterday. I didn't share it not only because I ran out of time and I'm scatterbrained, but no, like let me ask you something. Like, do people come to you like they do with me? Like, hey, this club did this and this club did that. Like, how do you get your information about like venues or businesses behaving badly?
I mean, I would say it's like 50-50. At this point, there's a lot of businesses that just have me blocked, and so I won't find out till like somebody sends me something. I'm like, oh, I've never even interacted with them. I guess they're just terrified. But people send me stuff because I get blocked, but a lot of the stuff I see myself, and I'm just like, that's a lie. That business is lying to the public. So let's do something about it. But somebody had sent me that. It was if no one saw it, it was a post from somebody at Republic, and they had the "Let's Go Brandon" sign. And I was just, I remember during the whole like King Street thing, like there's hardly any Black owned businesses on King Street. Like Republic was one of the ones that they kept saying like, oh, well, it's Black owned. And I just, I felt that was
right. Interesting.
I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah, I did make the distinction yesterday because I showed the post that you shared with me, and I did want to, and I'm not like correcting you to be an asshole. Like, you can't conflate Black with Democrat, but to your point, when the summer of 2020 and everybody was Venmoing and hey, I support a Black owned business, certain businesses was like, yo, I'm Black owned, and they wanted to benefit from the proximity of supporting, I guess, political ideologies. Republic hosted a number of Democratic parties and events over since the primary before coronavirus. So they play footsie with certain Dems and they enjoy a certain level of influence and power, but then to have that type of, I guess, element to their entertainment inside, to me, does say contradiction in values for sure. Yeah.
And that's like my big thing with kind of most of the situations that I make people aware of. It's like, if you want to be a place that wants to, like, I don't want to say a shitty place, but like, if you want to be a shitty restaurant owner, if you want to be a bad employer, like that's fine. Like, own it. Mm-hmm. Don't pretend to be something you're not. Right. Like that's the big thing, is just the hypocrisy in this town is astounding to me, like astounding. And I feel like if we as the consumers don't keep these businesses accountable, nobody will. And that's pretty much my motto.
Yeah, no. So yeah, you've kind of assumed this role. Would you say that you use Instagram primarily? You make a lot of reels, you point out a lot of things. It's a lot of fun content. It's not just all like heavy-handed messaging. So is Instagram your go-to, or are you on TikTok?
I am on TikTok. Instagram is my go-to. I like TikTok because I have like 500 followers and like I feel like I can say more on there than I can. But it's more like a fun little, It's really good for actually, like, it's very cathartic for me to tell these stories, like especially my own on the internet. And I found that a lot of people don't get that chance. Like, only when I started going to therapy did I realize a lot of these like stories of abuse I've experienced, like in the industry and outside of it, I had never even told to anybody. And I didn't realize that till I said it out loud. And I think that, historically, I know that women have always like bonded and communicated through storytelling, and that's kind of like lost on our system a little bit, like in our culture. So bring it back.
No,
I think we should, talk more, talk to people.
So today, after we conclude here, or not conclude, I got a couple more questions. After we conclude here, I'm going to lift up just historically like some really badass Black women who've been disruptive, some from the South, some from South Carolina. And I just want to talk about like just disruptive and not just being disruptive for the sake of shock value, but holding systems accountable. Are there other systems? I know food and beverage is your jam because that's the space you occupy as an entrepreneur, but are there other systems that you also seek to hold accountable here in Charleston?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That's like the problem is there's so much I want to do and only so much time. But I am actually a domestic abuse survivor. And so that is very near and dear to my heart. And having experienced that in South Carolina, I realized just how there is absolutely no help from anyone. From like, it was just kind of incredible to see, like, you know, just basic things like the cops would come and he would convince them I was crazy every single time, even though it was the neighbors calling the police. And I had no way of getting out for a very long time. And even when I got out, I had absolutely no support system. So I was in a very bad place for a long time. And I would absolutely love to help people because South Carolina is such a, like, it's just rampant here.
It's a horrible place for women. It's a horrible place for women and safety.
It's very, like, it is very unsafe for women in this town in general. And so that is something that I've wanted to get into. I also, just through what I do on Instagram, I have had many women tell me stories of being roofied at these not only bars and clubs, but like restaurants downtown. This one situation in particular, I found out that the hospitals do not have the ability to test for Rufalin or GHB. Like, forget about the fact that they're just kind of, the hospitals and everyone are assholes when these girls think they've been roofied. They tell them that they've been drunk, but there's no way for them to test Rufalin or GHB. In order to get those tests, you have to order one online, keep your pee warm the entire time as it comes to your house, and then send it off. It's basically impossible. So even to just get one place here where you could go and test yourself, because these women end up almost being gaslit into thinking like, well, did I get roofied, you know? And I've been roofied, and you can definitely tell when you have, but I didn't realize how impossible it is to get checked, and that's not okay.
Oh wait, so like, do you know? Do you know whether other cities have done that? Like, I never even knew that they couldn't. I assumed that, hey, if I get drugged, you'll find something in my system. Do you know of other places where that type of testing does take? This does happen, right? People test for this?
I mean, this is stupid, but they tested for Rufalin in The Hangover. So like, I don't know, you would think that was normal. No. I think you're right. And I think with such a robust food and bev culture, and with such atrocious record on violence enacted against women, you would think that, you know, and then we're in a city that, you know, loves a growing footprint of an MUSC, loves, you know, talking about the medical university and whatnot. You would think that perhaps that somewhere, I know MUSC is not the only hospital, but you would think that that type of victim support would be available. Someone in the chat, D, shout out D, she asked me to ask you, do you know Butch and Lisa Kennedy? She said that they're a good connect for domestic violence work. So, and I asked her to tell me more. She said the Palmetto Hope Network.org. Thank you, D. I appreciate that, D. Thank you very much.
Yeah, this is what I love about Twitch. Like, they are my co-producers for sure. I can't cut y'all a check yet. But no, back to this. But Palmetto HopeNetwork.org, she says that Butch and Lisa Kennedy do the Hope Walk for domestic violence every year. We have an action team working to organize change in domestic violence access to resources in Charleston. Oh, and then someone co-signs that. Joy, shout out Joy. She's an education warrior. She says they are a great connection. I
really appreciate that, because that's the thing. It's like hard to find the people that also care about these same things,
especially in a college town. Like, somebody said that. Nicole, you just said that in the chat. A college town, you would expect there to be a better type of safety net type system for victims, all victims, not just women either. That's what's up. Okay. I didn't even know this aspect of like what you were passionate about. I think I need to engage with your content more. Let me ask you this. This is what I definitely want to ask you before I let you go. So you said it earlier. I kind of referenced it again, but give some advice to people who are a little more reticent to speak up. They don't have to be me or you, right? They don't have to use entire platforms. But I do feel like it's the responsibility, just like with the coronavirus response, I do think it's the responsibility of the community to help out when they can, to do their part. What would you do? How would you encourage that reticent person who's like, I don't really want to kick up too much dust? But how would you kind of encourage them to speak out against injustice when they see it?
I mean, you don't have to go on the internet, but it's as little as just like making a face when somebody says like something racist, something homophobic, something like clearly offensive, just any reason to make them feel like they shouldn't have said that because you don't agree with them. Like even as simple as like, what, I don't really agree with that. Why would you say that to me? You know, like you don't have to go all crazy, but it's about confronting the people in your life, like the people, your friends. I've lost friends this year because they just wanted to, you know, like hang out and have a good time. And I wanted to talk about things because there were a lot of things going on, but, you know, you might lose people and people might not like you, but it's the only way, you know, confronting your coworkers. I know it's difficult to confront people like your bosses and stuff, but it's like, start with the young people around you. Like I always try to have a little bit more of a relationship with like the younger girls that were working at the restaurant, just kind of like, you know, ask what their college experience is like. I thought that maybe in this day and age, consent would be more of a topic, and I found out that it was not. You know, it's kind of the same thing it was a few years ago, but just by starting the conversation, opening conversations, telling your own stories is very important. You know, like I said, just kind of talking.
Okay, so I'm going to dismount by asking where people can find you and what you want to plug. But I want to ask, this is a new question I'm going to start asking everybody. Didn't prep you with this, but if you are a reader, like many people who follow me are like avid readers, what are you reading? It doesn't matter what it is. You don't have to impress me. What are you enjoying right now? Any book, any magazine, anything? What are you enjoying right now?
Okay, I really like It's Fingers, which is a Substack by Dave Infante.
Oh, like okay. So yeah, beer.
Yeah, I really like that Substack. And then I've been reading a book about endometriosis.
What is? Oh, wait, that's
it's called Know Your Endo, and it's actually by a local woman named Jessica Moraine. But yeah, I'm just trying to see if I have endometriosis, but that's what I'm reading right now.
Okay. No. We're going to shout out Dave. Dave is a friend. He gave me a really nice DM last week that really kept me going because sometimes I question whether or not I'm making an impact. And sometimes you just get some unsolicited, keep going. Yeah. And Dave is that dude. And yeah, he's passionate about beer. Oh, tell me more about beer before I let you go. Why are you so passionate about beer? What is this? Where did this passion come from?
Honestly, I don't even know. I really like the taste of it. And then when I worked for a distributor, I kind of just like, when I was in this terrible relationship and I didn't have much freedom and the only thing I could do was read. So I read a lot of books about beer. I studied a lot of it. And then when I got out of the distributor, I just started working in breweries, and I liked that it was a little more rough around the edges than working in a restaurant. I also I didn't like that it was male dominated. Right. And I kind of wanted to be like, all right, well, I'm going to come here and fuck shit up. And honestly, there's a lot more women in Charleston in the beer industry, and I am so happy to see it.
Oh, cool. Well, I'm glad that you're in that space. I'm glad that you are, like you said, you self-identify white passing Latina. I appreciate your voice. I appreciate your courage. And if there's anything I can do, seriously, hit me up anytime. I don't know how I come. Do I come off a little rough around the edges myself? Like, do I come off as unapproachable or nah? Like I'm cool.
I don't think you come off as unapproachable to me, but I'm sure I come off as unapproachable to a lot of people.
No, I think we got kindred spirits. So I definitely like attracts like. But okay, so where can people follow you? Where do you want people to follow you on Instagram? What? Somebody wants to know your TikTok too. Over here.
My TikTok is Beer Girl Meets TikTok, so you can follow me there. It's kind of like my Instagram. It's a wide range of content, but and then my Instagram is Beer Girl Meets World. And like Mika said, it's not just kind of like social justice. I do, like to have fun on there. Last night I was just like narrating Harry Potter. So
oh, that's dope.
But
and
just follow Beer Girl Meets World because I'm working on a few I'm working on a few projects that I think would be like interested to anyone that wants to make a difference or help the community.
Any pop-ups? Any pop-ups planned for the winter?
Oh yeah. Also follow Mama Ana's Arepas, my business. But yeah, I will be at Charleston Fermentory on Friday and Saturday, not this weekend, but next weekend. So the 10th, 11th, and 17th and 18th. So if y'all want some good, authentic Colombian food, we have arepas, Colombian hot dogs. It's good stuff.
Wait, where was that again? What was the venue?
It's Charlestown Fermentory in Avondale.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, over here now. That's like kind of my neck of the woods. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Well, also we'll be doing deliveries through like the holiday season because it gets like kind of cold in the winter though.
Yeah. Oh, well, now, first of all, for hustling and doing deliveries, that ain't easy. So I want to acknowledge that. The prices might reflect the sweat equity, y'all, and y'all better, support. Fuck a supply chain. Fuck a PS5. Go ahead and support. Yeah. Eat some good Colombian hot dogs. Ana, thank you so much for making time for me. And
thank you very much.
I wish you so much luck. Please stay in touch in the DMs and all that.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Okay, bye. That was fun. All right, I'm going to end it in. Okay, that was fun. That was good, right? No, I don't want this. Okay, getting all these Zoom notifications. That was fun, y'all. That was really good. Hold on. Boom. Bow. Yeah, that was dope. Thank y'all for making that really fun as well in the chat. If you came in late, that's okay. It's going to be on demand on Twitch for about 10 days, 10 days. As always, I upload every live stream. I try to do it by the end of the day that it was live stream. So if you want to watch it from top to bottom, I'll probably do is even make this a audio podcast. And I'm trying to figure out, I thought I was launching a video podcast, but technology is playing me. So this interview will be posted though. It will be posted on YouTube. It will be posted on videos on demand on Twitch for a certain amount of days. I might cut it down as a clip. When you kind of edit clips, they stay up there forever. So I'll probably do that too, because I really want people to hear from Ana. And Ana, if you're listening later on, I'm sorry for butchering your name for 18 billion times before you hopped on there, but I appreciate you nonetheless. All right. Yeah, that was fun. Yeah. Let's go to her IG real quick, and then we're going to go to Dave's Substack before I forget. Because I'm like, oh, yeah, we're going to. No, Dave, I forgot Dave Infante had a Substack. He was promoting it, I think, yesterday. So we'll go to Beer Girl. It's just so dope. The reason why, what I want to start doing too, is just start talking to people who are just interesting. At first I thought, y'all, let me just be candid. At first I thought that I gotta have these high profile interviews. I gotta interview authors and academics, and I'm like, that's cool too, and I want to do that. I want to shoot for the stars. I want to interview prominent authors and talk about books and stuff, but I also want to talk about the people. Definitely have to prioritize the people here in Charleston who are being disruptive. I love her picture. Who are being disruptive, who are fucking shit up. Keeping you accountable in Charleston. Look at this. I didn't even see that. Keep it. I love it. Live, laugh, anarchy. That's going to be my sign in my kitchen. Keeping you accountable in Charleston since 2020. And lean into it. She also urged us to support and follow this page. Oh, I already do follow this. Mama Ana's Arepas, right? All arepas ain't the same, y'all. Just so you know, Colombians are my favorite. I love Colombian, especially with breakfast food. But look at her Instagram. It's just fun. It's just frivolity. It's messaging. She has a pretty dope she has a pretty dope race analysis. And I want to make sure we lift up these voices. We hold each other accountable. We keep each other honest. That's important. So check her out. Now let's see if we can find Dave real quick before we switch over to more badass disruptive women posting. That was our present. Now we're gonna go a little bit back in the past, I think. So let's go to Twitter. And if y'all don't know who Dave Infante, look like Food and Bev Mara. Did I say it right? Whiskey Neat. It's Mara. It ain't Mara. It's Mara. I got it right. Mika, I got it right. All right, Mara and Justin, they hold it down, I believe. Oh yeah, we gotta show Justin's. Wait, Dave, but hold up, we gotta show Justin's. He got a cute picture, so y'all can see, because we know what Joy looked like. Hey, look at the friend of the show. Look at that old friend. Oh wow, okay, so that's the friend, that's the homie holding it down. Food and bev. Gang, gang. I like a responsible food and bev culture, y'all. I love a responsible food and bev. So this is Dave. So this is his Substack right here, as you can see. Let's see if I can click on it. So Fingers, drinking culture, being online and beyond, right? And Dave is like, he reached out to me like during all the 2020 Michigas, did an interview. I didn't do too good. He was nice and gentle. I was just not at my best. However, it's not about me today. Check out his Substack, y'all. It's worth it. And he's written for the Post and Courier. He's written for a number of news outlets. Let's look at his bio real quick. Covering the beer business. So you know he's on the Joey Cunningham beat. For Vine Pair. Send tips. Like if you have any food and bev tips, y'all. Some beer tips. Okay, send some tips. He got his email in the bio right there. But subscribe to Fingers. He has a link. Look at him. I need to get my shit together. I don't have my link tree. Look at that. So he has a 20%. Oh, we missed the sale. But yeah, you can read Fingers. You can subscribe to Fingers. You can listen to the Fingers podcast. Look at this. Follow Fingers. What the hell? Go ahead, Brandon. Let me follow you. Okay. All right. So yeah, let's support local members of the media. Okay, Joy, you said, in the spirit of accountability, I want to say I remember the situation with Anna and Rec Room and talked to their management about it. I think we need to remember there's another side. From my perspective, there were missteps on both sides. And it usually is, Joy. Hey, beer girl, you're here. I figured it out. Thank you for that. And that's exactly, hey, Island Vibes, good morning. What's up, DJ? All right, Island Vibes, y'all, is super dope DJ. He did the t-shirts. He did the Mike Wamika Charleston Activist Network t-shirts that you see Brienne rocking, and maybe Whiskey Knee, maybe Little Mama. Y'all was rocking the shirt. Y'all have them. Thank you so much. Oh, yeah, thank you for the support. Thank you so much, D, for gifting that sub. Salute. Joy, thank you for that. Beer Girl meets Twitch. Thank you for joining the First Time Chatter. Really appreciate you and your voice. But I think that's probably, I'm assuming, I'm gonna speak for Anna right now, but I know when the King Street Public House thing popped off, and a local artist, okay, called them out, you know, I too reached out to the local, you know, public house ownership, right? Because Jimmy LaTulipe was the issue, and they started talking to me, and then they ghosted me. Same thing as Anna explained. So even if there are two sides, I don't know what this reluctance in embracing it and having a conversation. You might fuck up. You might make a misstep. Maybe it's not legally the best thing to do to admit anything, but I think with people like myself, like I wasn't going to like file a grievance or anything like that. I wanted to know what happened, and I wanted to know how they were going to correct. Like, what were they going to do? What steps were they going to take to correct or to repair the harm that had been done? In the case of Jimmy LaTulipe, that's kind of clear cut. It was racist, and they didn't have any type. The public house, Maybank Public House, didn't have any interest, or any of the public houses that were affiliated with the King Street Public House, King Street Public House, and the one in Columbia, I think that was the Main Street Public House, I think. They just didn't have any interest in wanting to even have that conversation. And so it backfires when you don't confront it. So thank you for being, for saying that so much. And honestly, we need conversations around the food and bev culture here in Charleston. We need to talk about the sexual harassment. A couple years ago, y'all know, I was inundated with DMs on Twitter about women being victimized, women being harassed, women being preyed upon. all that in food and bev, and we need to have that conversation. We've talked here about the racist practices, the dress code practices, which is white supremacist as fuck. We talk about all the shenanigans on King Street with Mint, Republic. Now they showing their ass, right? We got to keep having these conversations. I think that, like, I'm not that person. I'm not a gotcha person. When it's something like Jimmy LaTulipe with the public house situation, hell fucking yeah, I'm gonna go in. That's what it is. But when it's delicate things like with harassment, like with alleged harassment, alleged sexual assault, like, yo, I'm not in gotcha mode. I'm in like, yo, what's going on, and how can we get justice? How can the victims get justice, right? That's really important. Al, you just dropped in the chat. You said, yeah, I find some businesses and organizations are afraid to comment on errors. But in the end, the lack of transparency creates more confusion and assumptions, which turn out to be worse for them and their image. Absolutely. And yet in Charleston, there hasn't been that big of a penalty yet. Not enough of these businesses have paid a severe enough penalty, and I'm not trying to be punitive. I'm as an abolitionist, I don't really lean toward punishment as much as I want just outcomes. But no one is paid, for the sake of this conversation, like, no one has really paid the price for acting badly or behaving badly. And I think that day has to come. Like, somebody has to be the one to hold one of these big behemoths accountable. Somebody has to go out on a limb and do that shit. So hopefully a day of reckoning will really happen here, where they don't feel so comfortable harassing people or relegating black people to the back of the house, not having a black staff at the front of the house, because we still see it. I see it at my favorite places, right? And why is that? Yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So what I want to do now is, like I teased out in the newsletter and on Twitter before we went live. Shout out to the new follower. Thank you, Beer Girl Meets World. Thank you, Anna. Want to just kind of go through some of my favorite, not new, but new to me. Why am I doing this? I think it's important for you to know historically that women, y'all know this already, right? It ain't just RBG. And I'm sorry, I'm gonna throw shade. Shout out to the Grimke sisters, but I love, like, in Charleston, like, sometimes the recently woke white women love to just try out the Grimke sisters. Like, okay, and they dope. They, you know what I mean? But shout out to Archibald Grimke, Black Grimke, nephew of the Grimke sisters. You know what I mean? That, had to dress like a woman and whatnot to escape the freedom, freed himself and all that. Anyway, but and we need to shout out the Grimke sisters, but we need to lift up more black women, because black women have been holding this spot down, and that's why the book club selection for January, venue to be announced soon, I'm working on it, but that's why the book club selection for January, The Trouble with White Women, is so important, because I think that what Anna is doing, subtly or explicitly, what I do subtly or explicitly, is we decenter the voices that tend to get all the microphone time, all the camera time. We're decentering men. We're decentering the oppressor, right? And we're centering the voices of those It's fun, it's pithy, all of that, right? And they're working on these relationships with other like blue check press, Twitter. They're working on these relationships so that Dr. Annie Andrews' message goes further and further and gets even more popular and notoriety. She starts bringing in money from all over the country, you know, within all the laws and regulation. But like with Jamie, right? We saw Jamie was fundraising the fuck out of people from all over, and what's his name? Lindsey Graham tried to make that a liability. So that's what they're trying to do. They're just trying to do that, and you know that Jamie's involved in this race as well in some capacity. You know, there's way more going on, but they're gonna keep serving up maces and pinata, and that's easy. Like, it's fun, but it's easy. Like I said, it's low hanging fruit. Mace is not like she's not. You know, she's got horrible politics. She is not a person whose moral character to me is her strong suit. I believe that very strongly, that Nancy Mace is morally challenged based on what she's promoted, who she's aligned herself with in recent years, right? She's a Trump acolyte trying to come off as a moderate that loves Britney fucking Spears while wearing, you know, what's his name? Jeffree Star Cosmetics, white supremacist Jeffree Star Cosmetics. Like, she's trying to, like, she's just an opportunist. There's so many different things. Shout out to all y'all too on Twitter. Like, no, she's got a policy platform. I'm sure she does, but I'm gonna need to see some of that shit catch fire too, right? I'm gonna need to see some of that shit really start to ring off. I need to know what is her plan for black women in her district. Right? And don't point to the black women that you organize with mom, you know, not just that, right? Moms Demand Action is cool, but like, what are you doing? Why should someone like me vote for you? Why should someone like me really support you as a candidate? And one thing that Dems in South Carolina, they want you to be happy with just good enough. They want you to be happy. I'm gonna close this out. They want you to be happy. We're gonna switch back to what we're gonna talk about. We're gonna talk about Majeska. But they want you to be happy with just like measly scraps. And you can have it all. You need to demand it all. Like I told you, I'm gonna use a lot of dating analogies to help you out with the politics analysis. You know, sometimes, you know, you just gotta be that chick on the date, gotta know your worth, gotta be that dude or that person on the date that, you know, you ordering the steak and lobster because you deserve it. You yes, I want the Chilean sea bass. Yes. And come back with the dessert menu because I think I want that flourless chocolate cake too. Like, you go ahead and rack it up, right? They work for you, and I think that the dynamic that the Dems and not just here but here, they want you to be happy with, hey, I know we're in a red state, but here's a refreshing cup of blue water. And you're just supposed to be so like grateful for this refreshing, you know, new thing. And that's cool. Once the refreshment's over though, what we gonna do? What else is there? How many more glasses you bringing to me? Where's the tidal wave of blue? Right? They should be grooming. There should be 3 more Annies, Dr. Annies in the pipeline, and they should not look all blonde and blue-eyed and white. You feel what I'm saying? Ask for more. So I am rooting for her. People don't understand that. I am rooting for Dr. Annie Andrews. I want her to be a better candidate. I want Joe Cunningham to be a better candidate. I want Jim Clyburn to be a better congressperson. Like that's my job, is to help them be better. And it's not going to be the way they want it, right? I'm not going to mammify it. So I'm going to keep it fucking a buck, and we going to move on. All right, so here we go. Jessica, speaking of Dems, holding the Dems accountable. Tamika, you so noisy. Tamika, you so loud. Why are you trying to tear down the party? Why you want to ruin the party? Why you want to end the party? Because Majeska said I can say this. She said I can talk my shit.
South Carolina and the nation, we should support that man regardless of party. Mm-hmm. Now, that's my philosophy. Mm-hmm. So now, I have a number of friends, so-called friends, that have been in the Democratic Party a long time. We are very good friends, and yet I don't vote for them because they're in the Democratic Party, and many of them I don't vote for, and they know it. So therefore, I'm independent so far as party labels are concerned. And I don't consider myself, as I said in the beginning, a South Carolina Democrat, because the South Carolina Democrat has never done anything for black people. except what they forced them to do through the federal courts.
Come on.
But I am a national Democrat. I am a card-carrying national Democrat. I don't say I'm a Democrat and not pay a membership in a party. But
see, that's exactly like I unconsciously, unknowingly, right? The party is trash. Justin, the party is.
Now listen, that's called motherfucking bars, Nick.
It's bars, right? So what's up, roller derby? Shout out all these roller skating people, Evelyn and Shannon too. Okay. But see, I love that. Like that's the kind of shit I'm on, right? I subscribe to Post and Courier. And I feel like that gives me extra right. It feels like I'm more entitled to criticize them. I subscribe to the state newspaper. I'm a member of ETV. Like I support a lot of the media that I criticize. I support the Dems. I donate to Crystal. I donate to candidates that really get me going, right? I do that. And yeah, I'm not just gonna be out here just talking shit. I'm actually trying to work. If you hit me up, I will link you up with people who I trust, operatives who I trust, whether they still live here in South Carolina or not. I will do my best to hook you up with people I trust and I know they'll give it to you straight, and help you. Like, a lot of people talk a lot of shit, but they need to tell you, like, I do a lot of help, and I'm not saying I need this recognition, but I'm just saying, like, I talk a lot of shit, but what doesn't get recognition is, like, I make sure somebody get a bag if they need it. I make sure somebody get connections they need. I think that's important, and like that's what Majestica did. Majestica's, she understood the importance of the power of black press and having a black-led newspaper. That's why she linked up with John H. McCrae, and they started the Lighthouse and Informer and moved from Charleston to Columbia. And while that partnership wasn't a match made in heaven, they did important work together, and she bankrolled it, right, until she just didn't anymore. I think that's the kind of leadership I look up to. It's like, I'm gonna talk my shit, but I'm also out here making it shake too. I was trying to find that Majestica Simpkins, like her niece talking. I can't remember. It was her niece. I want to know. It might have been. Oh, I know what it is. Oh, I know what it is. Damn, I can't get it here. I got a Paramount Plus subscription. And definitely not hearing from the former governor's wife. I got a Paramount Plus subscription because my dad loves to watch Young and the Restless. And their Smithsonian channel, has a special on it, and it had this really dope piece. I don't have it. I never logged in from my PC, so I don't have it here. But I wanted to show Majestica. Let's just get to the other clips I wanted to queue up that are important. I hear you in the in the chat. Let me see. Y'all about to skate? Let me see. I'm reading. Y'all should do a roller skate club. Please link up. Please. That's the whole point of this. All right, next person we want to lift up in terms of disruptor, women who disrupt, who hold systems accountable. I want to lift up Claudette Colvin. For those who don't know, Claudette Colvin was Rosa Parks before Rosa Parks. I hate saying it like that because she has her whole entire identity to herself, and she's still alive. She's still with us, but she never really gets the flowers. And this is the misogyny and the bullshit, patriarchal bullshit that came with the civil rights movement. I really can't wait till those books start coming. I think they're already out in certain ways, but the women were just like, black women were just treated like hell, like shit during the civil rights movement. Like they were just so looked over. Meanwhile, you thinking MLK running shit. It's Ella, it's Fanny, it's Rosa, it's Septima, right? It's like all these amazing women running shit. Diane Nash, right? Really making sacrifices. So I wanted to look at this clip from Democracy Now! It's from like 2016, 2014. Where they talk about the other Rosa Parks. Now, this is when she was 73, Claudette Colvin, right? So let's watch this.
This is Democracy.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman with Juan Gonzalez.
Well, earlier this year, the nation marked the 100th anniversary of the birth of Rosa Parks, who refused to give up her seat on a city bus in Alabama to a white man in December 1955. Her act of resistance led to a 13-month boycott, the Montgomery bus boycott, led by a young minister named Martin Luther King. In Washington, D.C. last month, President Obama presided over a ceremony unveiling a statue of Rosa Parks in the U.S. Capitol.
Rosa Parks' singular act of disobedience launched a movement. The tired feet of those who walked the dusty roads of Montgomery helped a nation see that to which truer.
All right.
In Montgomery.
Sorry, I can't listen to Obama.
Not the first woman.
I don't have the relationship with Obama that a lot of y'all, a lot of kids might have. Kid, my mama. Kid, your mama. I don't have that relationship no more. We had a bad breakup. I had a bad breakup with neoliberalism and drone strikes.
In Montgomery to refuse to give up her seat on a city bus. On March 2nd, 1955, 9 months before Rosa Parks' arrest, a teenage schoolgirl named Claudette Colvin boarded a city bus after school to head home. As it filled up, a white woman was left standing, and the bus driver ordered the 15-year-old Colvin to get up and move to the back. She refused and was dragged off the bus in handcuffs. 3 weeks later, the New York Times ran an article headlined, "Negro Girl Convicted. She is held guilty of refusing to move to the back of the bus."
Claudette Colvin went on to become the star witness in a case that wound its way to the Supreme Court. The court eventually ordered an end to bus segregation in Alabama. The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. made his political debut fighting her arrest. Claudette Colvin joins us here in our studio now, 73 years old, living in the Bronx. And we're joined by Jean Theoharis, author of The Rebellious Life of Mrs. Rosa Parks. Jean Theoharis is a professor of political science at Brooklyn College, has written extensively on the civil rights and Black Power movements, joined us in February on what would have been Rosa Parks' 100th birthday. Claudette Colvin, President Obama talked about Rosa Parks' singular act, but it wasn't exactly singular because you had done it before, 9 months before. She was 42. You were 15 years old. What gave you the courage that day? You were coming home from school?
Yes. What gave me the courage? All the unfair treatment that I had experienced in my early childhood. Plus, you remember February, we celebrated Negro History Week, but our school did it for the whole month. So I had a whole month to talk about all the injustices.
Back in 55.
Back in 55, yes. So,
you know what? One thing, right Twix and left Twix, aka my parents. One of the things that happened over Thanksgiving, I secretly recorded my dad, and I'm gonna tell him I did it. I ain't gonna play it yet. But he was telling so many good stories, y'all. And I gotta get these stories from him, right? Not like that. Like, I love him. I gotta get the love from him too. Dad, give me these stories now. But one thing my dad was saying was, like, one thing my dad and my mom, because they're 10 years apart, my mom is 10 years younger than my dad. My dad's 81. My dad's 81. My mom's 71. And one thing about them is they had a vastly different perspective on the civil rights fight. Because my mother she was given a choice whether she wanted to integrate to white schools or stay with the black schools in the rural part of North Carolina where she was raised. And my dad, he had a different, I think because he worked at an early age too, and was very, had to take care of the family, one of the men of the house type of thing. And he spent a lot of time in a more urban area that's like King Street, and he's telling me about King Street, and they argue because one thing my dad doesn't take into account is that my mom didn't integrate. And so it's not that she experienced less racism, but her experience might have mirrored what Claudette Colvin just outlined, which is, while the rest of the area was celebrating Negro History Week, that's what it was, right? It was a week she actually had an entire month. My mom has more of like stories akin to that, of like these really purely Black experiences, Black neighbors, Black systems created in her rural community, Black churches. And so she understood discrimination. She understood oppression. The Klan did come marching into town. She remembers that. She remembers white only bathrooms. She remembers all of that, but she just has a different relationship because she did not integrate. And she wanted to stay in her Black schools with her Black friends, whereas my dad was confronted nonstop when he would go to King Street. He told me part of the story he shared on Thanksgiving was, the stories where he couldn't go into. He said you can go into a Woolworth. Couldn't go into Crest, of course, but he had 2 stores on King Street where if you had to go to the bathroom, if you went in there and asked to use the bathroom, they would say that we don't have any bathrooms here. If you were a grown-ass old Black man, he remembers seeing old Black men being called boy by young white people. Like this just really interesting perspective. And I think when you talk to like a Claudette Colvin and hear those experiences, they're eye-opening. And they're not the experiences we hear often. I know I went on and on, y'all. I'm sorry. Cougar, my mom, it's so funny because my mom was, I look at the pictures, y'all, when her birthday's coming up. She was a shit brick house. Like, and she's so like, my mom is so pretty and was so pretty. She never thought she was pretty. And I'm like, yeah, that's just evil world telling you that because you gorgeous. My mom was a shit brick house with a metabolism she did not pass down to me. She passed it down to my little twin brother, but not to me. I'm transitioning a little awkwardly, but I want to get in as much as possible. So Claudette Colvin, Claudette, I think this piece, actually, they did really a little bit better with the production and help you get the gist of who she is. So let me play this real quick so we get a better understanding as to who Claudette is or who she is, because she's still with us. I think the producers do a lot, y'all. Let me tell you something. Sometimes when y'all watching a really good interview, you better look for that producer credit because they the ones helping facilitate that interview. And a great interviewer is important as well, but producers really be creating it. So here we go. That still picture. Let me see if I can get back to it. I want y'all to meditate on, while this is not our reality, literally, like our bus systems aren't segregated. I really want you to think about and visualize ways in which this type of subjugation still exists in our systems, right? Where do you see Black people, the people who perhaps you see a lot of like workers here, you see a mom here or at least a caregiver, you see a woman in the back, she look like she's going to work, she got a big old bag, definitely a domestic somewhere on this bus going to work, probably going to or from work. Think about the ways in which Black people are subjugated in our mainstream culture. It might not literally say colored only or white only, in certain establishments and places, but it definitely still exists. This type of separation, physical separation or a systemic separation does exist. And I want you to reflect on those things and think about like when those invisible barriers existed, right? Think about ways in which you can dismantle the invisible walls and invisible barriers that keep people from opportunity, from equality, from equity. Think about ways you can disrupt that. This is what I really want to inspire and encourage today with the live stream, is to think about, we've come a long way. We love patting ourselves on the back, but we didn't get there. No one just say, oh, this dude gave a great speech on the mall in Washington, so we just like took all the colored only signs down, right? It was hard fought. And for women like Claudette Colvin, who didn't fit the perfect mold, right? I believe she was a young mother. That's the reason why they didn't really want to promote her. Didn't want to use her, even though her kids went to the Supreme Court and all that other stuff. Like, women who don't fit the mold, who don't perform respectability. Just think about that. I hope they inspire you. Think about how hard fought their victories were, how much sacrifice. You can even kind of read some of the sacrifice on Claudette when you hear her speak, when you watch her. You could tell she didn't get it also makes me think about Ida B. Wells when she was thrown from the train. She had bought her ticket to board the train and they were like, oh no, black people got to, black women had to go to the smoking car where like all the men are, or take it way back, black people had to be in the cattle car, right? They had to literally travel with livestock way back in the day, right? I think early, like maybe mid 19th century, or whenever, I think around that time. Just think about Ida B. Wells. I want to transition. We're gonna keep talking about Rosa Parks because she did amazing work. Y'all remember the 2018 Oprah Golden Globe speech? I actually used this excerpt in one of my previous podcast episodes. It was very powerful. Of course, like any other person, Oprah is a complicated figure, but we don't throw people away. We black. We don't throw people away. We don't throw our people away. I guess I can't throw Obama away, kid. I can't throw him away, but anyway, no. But on a serious note, Oprah said some really profound things here. Remember, this is against the backdrop of the Me Too movement, at least the Me Too movement or Time's Up in entertainment, and even that is got its complexities. But I think what she offered up here, because y'all know my love language is leveraging archives, right? What Oprah offered up here, it just piqued my curiosity and led me on this journey to discover more about Recy Taylor and about Rosa Parks' work as an investigator, as a badass investigator. So let's listen to this. I gotta believe in redemption. I gotta hold out hope on like redemptive. I just can't. I can't throw them away. I think we do live in a very, and I know you're not meaning this literally. I think we live in a very disposable type of like world where it's easy. And I'm not saying that we need to endure rapist and vile and virulent people, but when we have accommodations like Tyler Perry, like Oprah, a lot, accommodations, people who just always seek out to make the talk about race comfortable and malleable, accommodations like that, they do harm. They do. That Acho dude, that African dude, that former football player that's out there on like Apple talking about, uncomfortable conversations with white people. They're not uncomfortable. They're not uncomfortable. And stop centering white people's comfort. Like that's what Oprah and them, that's what my biggest complaint about them is, like, you keep centering white people's comfort. No, they have to learn this. Just like we have to learn all these uncomfortable ass lessons, they have to too. So like stop accommodating, their sensitivity or whatever you want to call it. Or their reluctance. It really is that. Like, I'm not going to placate you because you're reluctant. Shit, you know what I mean? It's called a growing pains, right? It's supposed to be painful. Yes, we can. Shut up, Justin. That's your love language. Throw them all away. Throw them in a volcano as a sacrifice. that might, for some, I wouldn't mind. What she lifted up was very important. The work of Rosa Parks as an investigator into cases like the Recy Taylor case was transcendent, was too important to ignore. So this is a little, this is from movie clips, on movie clips is where you can find all the movie clips and trailers. This clip from the rape of Recy Taylor, outlines the work that Rosa Parks led as an investigator with the NAACP. So she didn't just refuse to get up on the bus, right? And that was a whole campaign that was orchestrated. She did so much other work. She learned at the foot of Septima Clark, right? Like Rosa Parks is still doesn't get you. I talked about Claudette not getting her flowers. Rosa's legacy has been limited to a bus, and it's like, no, it transcends all of that, and she's just super dope. Super dope. Yeah, and beautiful. All these women are beautiful.
Recy Taylor isn't the first Black woman that Rosa Parks goes to after a sexual assault. This is the work that she's doing prior to the Montgomery bus boycott. She's an investigator. So when these cases and calls come into the
I hear you, KCJT.
They send her out.
She wasn't in our house no more than 15 minutes before Louis Colby showed up.
People know who Rosa Parks is because when Rosa goes to interview Recy that first time, the county sheriff is rolling by the house.
Come on.
Drives by, and then finally busts into the cabin and says, "Get out of here."
He come in the house during this and told her she had to leave. and to get out in town. So she left, and 2 weeks later, she came back. And this time he come in, he was rugged. He bust in the house, grabbed Rosa Parks by the arm, and pulled her out on the porch and wouldn't allow her to come down the steps. We had 3 steps on our porch. And he just pulled her from the high part all the way down on the ground.
Oh my
Rosa
God.
Parks went down on her knees, fell out there in the yard.
Drag Rosa
Then he
Parks.
told her to get out in town, and she come back, he was gonna put her in jail and keep her there. She left.
Rosa leaves, but she's not intimidated. She comes back, right? And she comes back, and on the second visit, the sheriff comes again, and they physically throw her out of the house. And this is not unusual. Rosa, of course, would know to expect that if a white sheriff comes in, he's going to ultimately put his hands on her. But I also think it reveals something about her, too. That for the sheriff to come in and to throw her out the steps implies that Rosa was resistant.
That's right. Y'all go get that book, This Bridge Called My Back. I'm telling you, black women just stay just defiant. And one thing I wanted to tie up, this is gonna sound mad random, but when I think about the sacrifices that black women, the sacrifices that black women have made, and like the price they've paid with their bodies, with their safety, sacrificing their safety, it makes me think about the reflections I shared about following the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict. And what I wanted to do was at least facilitate a conversation about what I did. I think y'all all helped me with that. We talked about the legacy of these integrated movement spaces, specifically the Freedom Rides, and how white people were not spared the violence that is typically reserved for black people resisting bondage, resisting white supremacist oppression, and that was intentional. They want to make examples out of white people to discourage other white people, and the same thing goes for black people. They want to beat you up, beat you down, blind you in one eye, damn near. Fannie Lou Hamer, as she left Septima's class, got on the bus. Fannie Lou Hamer was brutalized following a visit with Mama Septima. Almost had black men beat her in the jail cell to make an example, to intimidate them, right? And what I always wanted to tie up with that Rittenhouse conversation was that violence is always a factor. If you thought that speaking up against injustice was only about clicks and memes and a certain type of yoga if you thought it was all festival, all Lilith Fair, tutu, pussy hat, Handmaid's Tale cosplay, and you didn't that if you are engaging in that type of activism where that's the riskiest shit you'll endure, then you're doing a lot of things wrong. There's always been inherent risks in doing this work and standing up against these really violent people and forces. And so I wanted to say that, and no other people really for me, I'm a black woman, so my perspective is my perspective, but there's no other figures in history that have demonstrated that, hey, your femininity, your femaleness will not save you, right? I don't know, black women have had to endure so much that I don't think even the most unaware of us, I don't think we ever move in a way where we don't think that violence is a factor or could happen to us. And I think more white women specifically, but more white people need to have that type of consciousness as well when they're engaging in this work. The inherent risk was always there, is always there, whether you choose to see it or not. Kyle Rittenhouse won't be the last Kyle Rittenhouse. They're going to try to make examples out of you, but that's the part of the fight. And I know that sounds flippant, or maybe sounds like, oh, you just said it very matter-of-factly, but it really is the truth. There's risk involved in what I'm doing. I'm sure somebody one day will probably try to sue me. I'm sure someday someone will try to physically, accost me. It's already happened, right? So the risk is already is there. I wanted to lift up. Ooh, I do want to. Yes, Soledad, because Soledad is doing some important work in the now. Shout out to Dan Le Batard's show. Shout out to South Beach Sessions, because there was a part of South Beach Sessions where she talks about press accountability. Y'all know, if y'all don't follow Soledad, y'all hustling backwards, because she's showing you in real time how to hold the press accountable. I love it. I might just go to her Twitter feed because it's just fire. But I wanted to lift up Lorraine Hansberry, because she's a mellow gangster, right? Very, very sophisticated. Well, like just so, like, such a beautiful orator, such a beautiful writer and visionary, a brilliant queer Black woman, really just trying to figure out where she fits. But I love the fact that what she said in this clip, I used to share this clip often. And if you haven't peeped looking for Lorraine, Join Me and Justin. That's one of my favorite books. But let's just listen a little bit from Lorraine herself. And I think this is important. This is, again, lifting up disruptive Black women, whether it be refusing to get off a bus, whether it be, standing up to the Democratic establishment in South Carolina, Jessica, whether it be writing prolific works and also creating rooms and opportunities for grassroots civil rights organizers to speak directly to JFK or to she's just such a mellow gangster, y'all. Like, she's so badass, but because she's so refined and elegant, I think a lot of her explosiveness is lost to people.
I sat down and wrote a letter to the New York Times. I am of a generation of Negroes that comes after a whole lot of other generations. And my father, who was real type American, successful businessman, very civic-minded and so forth, was the sort of American with a great deal of money.
Joni, thank you. That's what she was promoting on Dan Le Batard's South Beach Sessions. Soledad has Black and Missing on HBO. She did some good work too last year, I believe, with BET too. But she's holding it down.
A great deal of his really extraordinary talents and a great deal of passion into everything that we say is the American way of going after goals. That is to say that he moved his family into a restricted area where no Negroes were supposed to live, and then proceeded to fight the case in the courts all the way to the Supreme Court of the United States. And this is the way of struggling that everyone says is the proper way to do, and it eventually resulted in a decision against restrictive covenants, which is very famous, Hansberry versus Lee.
She's talking about.
The problem is,
she's talking about redlining, and if you know the play Raising the Sun, that's exactly, we get a very illustrative example of like redlining and how like maybe its earlier forms looked like, what it looked like for a Black family trying to just move out of the slums of whatever urban center that they may be inhabiting to a more suburban, just to have access to the American dream. But I want to get to a certain quote. Let me see if I can find it.
As if we got up today and said, what can we do to irritate America?
Oh, perfect, Mika. Perfect timing. We wake up today. How can we irritate America? Let's listen to this.
I'm now speaking. It isn't as if we got up today and said, what can we do to irritate America? It's because that since 1619, Negroes have tried every method of communication, of transformation of their situation, from petition to the vote, everything.
Yes.
We've tried it all. There isn't anything that hasn't been exhausted. Isn't it rather remarkable that we can talk about a people who were publishing newspapers while they were still in slavery in 1827? You see, they've been doing everything, writing editorials, Mr. Wexler, for a long time.
Yes.
And now the charge of impatience is simply unbearable.
Right.
I would like to submit that the problem is that, yes, there is a problem about white liberals. The problem is we have to find. So Tamika, you always talk about white liberals and the Democratic establishment. This is so uncomfortable. This is new to me. I'm just playing like somebody who might be new to my content. What's wrong with her? What does she want? What's her currency? Does she want a job? How can we keep, why does she keep indicting
before, like, I ain't nobody, right? I ain't nobody. Queen right here was kicking that shit early. You hear, like this thing, these ain't new concepts. Ain't nothing new under the sun, right? These aren't new concepts. This isn't a new fight, right? It's very familiar, right? And no, we're not impatient. We need justice now. We overdue. Y'all late. Come on. And you have voices like this. Y'all, ooh, listen to this. What's this, the sixth? I don't know what year this was in. I'll see if I can find it, because it's a compilation of different, I think it's different places. I don't know. She might be in one place. But this is amazing.
The problem is that, yes, there is a problem about white liberals. The problem is we have to find some way with these dialogues to show and to encourage the white liberal to stop being a liberal and become an American radical.
Whew. That's the clip. That's the clip I wanted y'all to hear. But please make sure you read Looking for Lorraine, written by Imani Perry. Yeah, I don't know. It said, 1964, town hall meeting in New York City. 1964. Amazing. 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 Oh my God, so amazing. Let me see if there's anything. We did Majeska, we did Nina, we did Oprah, Soledad. Let's get here. Let's see if I don't know if I got this.
They had a value. They had, grew the value of their homes. They built wealth while other people couldn't. I mean, it's just, and I think sometimes we don't put those things, we don't really explain them, or that, the GI Bill, which allowed, if you were a GI, you could go to college, except not if you were Black. Right? Like, that's a big exception. So it's those kinds of things.
Y'all know that, right? Like, GI Bill was not extended to Black people, black soldiers returning home. So not only can we not buy homes to build equity, we can't even get out. Like, it's so blatant, and it still goes on. It's a pervasive practice that's still going on. She talks about press accountability, and I can't remember. I didn't earmark it. I didn't bookmark it the way I typically do. You're right. I'm never organized. But she talked about press accountability. I'm trying to find it, so just bear with me.
Of journalism
I think we got it. Shout out to Dan Le Batard. Y'all know I'm a big Dan Le Batard fan. I love the fact that since he's left, especially since he's left ESPN, but even when he was there, he used this platform to really to have these really complicated and really tough conversations, at least initiate the conversations. Doesn't always do it skillfully, doesn't always have the right tools or people, but I'm seeing how now that he's building out Meadowlark Media and all these other programs and specials, he's really creating spaces where those stories can be told, and people like Soledad, who are big on accountability and holding systems accountable, like the press, since she is a media member. I love the fact that he's facilitating these conversations now, and I'm excited to see the growth of his network, and I'm actually learning a lot from it and trying to build out something somewhat similar along certain lines.
Glory, it's just about saying, like, well, let's just actually accurately explain how it was. Okay. I think that's kind of the strategy.
Another broad question, but your thoughts on the state of journalism as you continue to
I didn't get the last one,
strong,
Justin.
Thorough,
I'm a listen. Yes, I am.
Fair work that I think has sort of morphed into activism on occasion, but activism that is, buoyed by fact.
I was thinking about that the other day because someone called me an activist, and I'm like, I guess if the question is like, are you against racism? Yes, for sure. Are you against trafficking of young women? 100%. I mean, am I an activist? Because I feel, yes, if that makes you like fully 100% against, should people be killed? No. Yeah, I think that's bad. Right. So, pedophilia, terrible. So, I mean, in a way, I feel like, yes, there are certainly things that I feel very strongly about that are right and wrong. And I would never, as a journalist, go into like, let's really talk about if being a racist is okay. I just don't think that's the way to do it. So I'm not sure I'm an activist in the classic sense of I don't go on marches. I just try to tell stories about things that I think are undercovered. And the idea that in and of itself is activisty, which is not really a word, but is kind of unusual, right? I mean, that you're just trying to insert people back in a narrative where they've kind of been missing. So I guess I don't think of myself truly as a classic activist, and I've never really had an interest in doing that. I think it's much more of saying, well, let's just talk about the actual thing that happened, and really make sure people are clear on some of the.
But the reason I ask you about the state of journalism,
I'm gonna pull up her Twitter while they talk. I'm gonna keep going.
You have your imprinting, and you are interested in storytelling, and you are a fair storyteller. But you've seen what has happened to the news, where it has become side taking and it has become politicized, and the kind of journalism that you're doing, I think most reasonable people can embrace, but that's not exactly the state of journalism.
Yeah, I think you're talking about political journalism, and I'm not really a political journalist, so I do think it's messy, and I don't even think it's about side taking is the big problem. I think a lot of the problem is this idea that everything is equal, that they just really don't want to call a thing a thing. I remember in the Trump presidency trying to encourage the New York Times to I think it was Maggie Haberman who said something was just factually untrue. And you're like, that's a lie, right? When someone lied, you wouldn't say to your kid, well, that is factually untrue. You'd be like, don't lie to me. And so I think there was this tremendous hesitancy to just back off and not say things very clearly and directly. And I'm not 100% sure why, but many journalists do it, or even to do this both sides. Well, Hillary's doing this and Trump's doing that. And I think that's just a very problematic way of framing. There was a great example the other day in the New York Times about the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. And it was this long-winded, he was a young man who was looking for belonging in a team, in a community. Then you're like, literally, this is such a bizarre, what makes someone frame it this way when there's 10 other ways to think about framing a story? So I do think framing more than anything is what drives me crazy about our political journalists.
Can I say this before I dip? Because like this exact, Soledad, what she does, even before it was really, people were really catching on to what she was doing, Soledad is doing what intuitively I've been screaming for someone to do, which is point out the shitty headline, the shitty framing, the shitty editorial decisions, because they literally can impact people's lives. They literally impact the way we see things, how we view things. They've skewed elections. We've seen that. When Meet the Press, when dumbass Chuck Todd decides to continue to platform liars, when our local media continues to platform Bear Spray Tyler Bessinger, a white nationalist who participated in insurrection, when we continue to put them on the same Will Folks with Fitz News, he's in a whole ass documentary about the Confederate flag, and literally, I'm sorry, the way he do media, I'm actually not opposed to it. Do your thing over there, and he does what he does very well. It ain't, but he doesn't have a cogent political point of view. He doesn't. His political party is himself. When we continue to platform him and include him in some sort of big ass documentary because we want to do both sides, the shit that she's been doing is exactly what I've been screaming at for the last 10 years, or when I really started to focus in on what are these newspapers doing, especially here with the Charleston media scene. And it's just so refreshing. It's like, y'all talk about gaslighting. It's like what's the opposite of gaslighting? Waking someone up, or so sobering and refreshing and eye-opening to hear someone challenge that and know that, no, I'm not crazy. New York Times, you don't have to frame it this way. Washington Post, you don't have to frame it this way. City Paper, do better. Post and Courier, stop with the fuck shit. I love that she's actually validating this practice, and I really do hope, I sincerely hope that today's live stream also gives you that type of invigorates you or moves you, inspires you, encourages you to also see a thing, call it out. Like Anna said, it's just respond to the fuck shit in real time. Make a screw face. Say, what's up with that? you know, just the mere questioning of certain things and not accepting the status quo. Like, why are we so uncomfortable with that? Like, I understand cruise control. I understand we all want to just get through and glide through life, but that ain't real. Being comfortable 90% of the time is not real. It's not a goal I'm looking for. Not like complete comfort, right? I'm reading Pleasure Activism, so I gotta chill out with that because Adrienne Marie Brown is telling me that, you know, activism can be joyful. It is, but I just think that it doesn't have to be complete. It doesn't. The expectation is that there's no discomfort. Like, I want the growth. I want the friction. D, you said it pisses you off so much to hear we're so polarized. Come on, D. We're so polarized. See my head? We're so polarized, Nancy Mace. This country has been polarized. Exactly. Hello, Civil War. We acting like this shit new. Hello, abolitionists saying, no. Don't use Christianity to justify slavery. Like, get out of here. Yeah, extra. Oh, we're gonna get into that honor one day. I'm gonna figure out how I'm gonna approach that watchdog bullshit. Right. Thank you so much. Yeah, whiteness dog. I don't understand that. I guess that's something that you whatever. I don't know how that conversation yet. But let me keep playing this before I dip because I gotta go.
Because I think they fail on that front a lot. So I think political journalism in this country is a mess because they don't know how to deal with people who lie.
That's it.
You know, I personally don't put people on TV who lie. If you lie, you just won't come back. And listen, and I'll let you go to the line of spinning, of overstating.
I like a good zhuzh. I like a good non-answer answer. Like, that's skillful. Like, I'm a slippery bitch too. All right, you know, Tamika, did you lead the protest? Did you lead people, instruct people to vandalize the Calhoun Monument? You know, what took place at the base of the Calhoun Monument prior to its removal was a beautiful expression of radical activism. It was, what you saw was a community coming together and recontextualizing what count. That's my answer, not answering. I didn't say yes. I didn't say yes because, you know, statute of limitations. I'm a slippery bitch. Like, but I ain't gonna lie though. I ain't gonna lie. I will not lie. I will not mislead. I'm not gonna do the Aaron Rodgers. I'm inoculated. Maybe to a cop I might do that because fuck that. ACAP.
Bragging, but like an out and out lie is problematic. And I remember when Kellyanne Conway, you know, talked about alternative facts, and Chuck Todd's reaction was not, we don't do that here.
Like when the cops asked me, I went and joined Marcus at a protest. Marcus was leading a protest at Marion Square, and I took the bullhorn like several times. And then we got to a point where the cops was like, all right, we about to start checking folks. And so he came up to me because I was clearly somewhat taking on somewhat of a leadership role. He's like, are you running this? And I just started acting like I didn't understand what he was saying. I'm like, running what? I just kept asking questions. Like, I kept answering his questions. I'm slippery as hell. Who's in charge? I don't know. Marcus, do you know who's in? I think they went that way. Like, that's me. I saw nothing.
On this show, which is Meet the Press.
Meet the Press. Okay.
We deal in facts. We deal in accurate facts and information. And so if you want to deal in alternative facts, you cannot be on this show. She was booked on a zillion shows after that.
Yep.
He kind of giggled through. I mean, if you go back and watch the clip, he sort of giggled through that.
That pisses me off.
I just think that's kind of where we are. And that's very disappointing, obviously, to me.
And I love the way she uses her platform to hold people accountable. It's so funny because every time I see Soledad, except for like some really deep pieces like on Real Sports or HBO, or like really like even in person, she was in Charleston during all the primary stuff, holding down conversations and stuff like that. She was in South Carolina. If not Charleston, she was in South Carolina. So I saw her live and in person up close. She's a fucking force to be reckoned with. What I like about her is that she's always smiling. Tell me about a time when you saw Soledad really like mean mugging like that. She has such a pleasant disposition, but she's out there with that Ginsu knife. Like she's cutting your throat, Chuck Todd, with a smile on her fucking face, right? Like, and beautiful skin. I love that. I wish I could do that more, but you gonna get me in this hoodie making these real screw faces. All right, y'all. I want to say thank you. Give yourself a round of applause. Thank you for holding me down. We had level 4 hype train situation. The bits, the subs, the follows, the comments, all of that matters because y'all, I'm trying to grow something important. It's Giving Tuesday. While I'm not making a direct appeal to give to me, y'all already demonstrated how much you care about me because you've already given so much. And I want to say thank you to the new Patreon subscribers. Thank you so much to the new Twitch peeps. Please keep your eye on those notifications. I go live every morning at 8 a.m. If you are going to give today on Giving Tuesday, please try to give to a grassroots organization who doesn't have all of the resources. Don't participate in traditional philanthropy bullshit. It's Giving Tuesday. Give to a small black business. Give to a small POC-owned business. Go to Mama Anna's Arepas. Support that. Like, it's Giving Tuesday. You can remix it any way you want. Tip a bitch if you want. If you feel inclined, you already have. Thank you for holding me down. Seriously, it feels like Meekmas has not ended. I got Evelyn's candles. Evelyn, I got an okra bath lined up with that candle. Next waxing moon cycle. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for just supporting me. Y'all, feel like Meekmas is not ended. I'm actually having a birthday dinner this week. Y'all are just so awesome. Megsy, that gift card about to get a workout. I appreciate and see you. Thank y'all so much. I'll be back tomorrow at 8 a.m. At 8 a.m. It's going to get crazy for me from Wednesday to Friday. So y'all pray for me. We're going to have a juicy show. Ooh, Friday going to be juicy. Friday going to be juicy. Friday, that's all I can say. I ain't going to say no more. Love y'all. Thank y'all. Bye.